the feminine, she's not strong enough. She's overwhelmed by this Saturn, and today we have to acknowledge is the day, I think, that begins the Democratic Convention. So I'm here in Europe. It's almost noon time, my time. So that will be getting underway in a few hours. Probably by the time this video gets uploaded, it will have started the day. And I have no idea what's going to go on, but I don't think it's going to be what people expected. And again, we'll look at that much more closely tomorrow. Yes, so this is one of the things that's challenged here for Kamala Harris at this point is something that a lot of her own supporters are taking issue with. A lot of people are taking issue with her latest, I think it was maybe a few days ago, she talked about wanting to establish price controls. Very Aquarian idea, by the way, very Aquarius, who want to have control over how people exchange things, how people think, how people do things. That is the other side of Aquarius. It's not all about the hippie sort of love and light and peace and all that stuff. It's also about social control, especially when you've got Pluto there, and how the society is being shaped and controlled. Now, I lived in Prague in 1990, so early days, just after Prague, the Velvet Revolution, it was called. I was teaching English there as a volunteer. Well, we were paid volunteer, but we were paid the going rate. In those days, everybody, whether you were a surgeon or a janitor or a street sweeper, you would be paid 3,000 Czech crowns a month, which was roughly the equivalent of $100 in those days. And so that's what I was paid, because I was teaching English, and everybody was there 3,000 crowns. Now, the prices were also controlled, so you could buy things like, I don't know, a pair of leather gloves for about 10 crowns. So everything was controlled, and it sounds alright up until the point where you realize that nothing is actually real. You don't get anything that you really want, and then everything that is actually already valued gets lightened off to the black market, where people start to sell in terms of more liberal trade. Now, I mention this because it's a dire situation to be in a place where you cannot control either your wages or prices, and that is, again, as I mentioned, this Aquarian idea, very Aquarian idea, this more communist or socialist idea. It sounds really good on paper. That's also very Aquarian. It sounds really good on paper, but when you start to apply it in reality, well, here comes Uranus, and it says, are you sure about that? And so this is the pressure she's under from her own party. That is not my opinion. I'm following news, and I'm applying the astrology of the moment as to how it might affect her. And this could be the moment where we see that she's now increasingly being thrown under the bus. And we have already seen that from certain people in the news. Michigan governor threw her under a bus in a conversation that she had on Meet the Press or something like that. I'm just seeing clips, just catching up with the news after having been kind of non-stop moving around for 5 days. And so again, I say these things not because of the person she is. I'm talking about the situation she's in. It's not a tenuous, it is a tenuous situation. It's not a very long, it's not a strong supportive energy or long-standing energy at the moment. It's very volatile. So we'll look at that more in detail tomorrow when I go into the political stuff. Let's see, what else needs to be said? Yeah, I think the other aspect of this, in just a really general sense, is to recognize this quality of idealism and our potential for disappointment. Now we have the moon that is moving into Pisces just after this lunation, and moving therefore into a semi-sextile with Neptune. So the moon is squaring Uranus. Uranus and Neptune are kind of in a sextile. Uranus and Pluto are kind of in a trine. That will perfect in a year, the next couple of years. But Neptune and the moon will be moving into this interesting semi-sextile. Now that's an uncomfortable position. Neptune is in conjunct the Sun when it is on Regulus, of like when you're in an elevator, but there's too many people, and there's somebody behind you, it's a little bit, feels a little bit awkward, feels a little bit weird, not comfortable. Or when you're driving and there's a kind of blind spot, and you know that energy is there, but you're not quite sure how to navigate that energy. And so this is part of the mystery of this chart. How do we navigate this energy that Neptune, when it causes confusion and difficulty, can also cause a certain amount of disillusionment. And this is also part of, if we take that as the meaning of the collective, moon meaning the collective or the people, in this case the United States, there's some disillusionment, there's some kind of disappointment, or at the very, the basic, the standard operation is that there is some kind of a sense of the wool being pulled over your eyes. Now keep that in mind, as I did mention, that Venus will be conjoining, as she's squaring Mars, Venus is conjoining the Neptune in the US chart on Friday. That's quite a big deal. We'll talk again more about that tomorrow. But it is part of this week, the whole of this week, and as we go into the next lunar cycle of the waning moon for the next 2 weeks, do watch out for anything that seems to be